Hey y'all, if you would turn with me to Nehemiah 1 3 through 6. Again, it's Nehemiah 1 3 through 6. This isn't exactly the verse I was looking for, but this actually works better for what I'm going to talk about. You know, there's a quote, I heard it must have been 10 years ago now. It gets rent free in my head, as the kids may say. Um, it's from Facing the Giants. I don't know if any of you've seen that. Kendrick Brothers, a fun film movie. It's really good, but but it's from Facing the Giants, and this coach he says Nehemiah was tasked with building a stone wall around the city for protection, but he didn't have enough men or resources or time. But because each person worked on a section of the wall, worked on a section of the pan, they got it done in record time. Now, I'm not reading that directly from the Bible what happened. I'm just quoting. Like I said, that quote has always kind of stuck with me. Like I'll just be I get all randomly popping in my head at some moments, and maybe this is why, I don't know. But, but yeah, it just sticks in my head sometimes. You know, does it ever occur to you how God often puts you in unexpected situations? I mean, and I'm not just talking about you, the Christian, I'm talking about you, y'all, every and any single person, even if they are subject to God or not, even if they believe or not, this does apply to them how often they may end up in unexpected situations. Saw the movie The Sound of Freedom yesterday with my mom. And I mean, as an aside, it's crazy how the obfuscation is with that movie. How, like I've heard it said, like, oh, it's a conspiracy movie or it's a religious based film to try to drive people away from this actual trial trafficking film. And it just suspect how they try to do that. I'm not saying anything outright, but it just more than suspect how they are trying to do that, because this is an independent film. I mean, not by a big studio or anything. I think the studio's only like a few years old, maybe a couple years old. But yeah, I saw it, and they've got another movie coming out, and I'm looking forward to that too. But I talk about that to say this because it's really relatable to what I'm gonna talk about, being unexpected situations. No, not a lot of spoilers for the film that you don't see in the trailer. Don't worry. I encourage you to see it. It's a fantastic and necessary film. I mean, I may just go see it a couple more times, see it as myself. I don't know if my mom and dad will, but I may tag along with them if they are on a date night or something. But but yeah, it's a really necessary film. What happened in it, as pertaining to unexpected situations, the main character of the film, Tim Babbitt, he's an undercover. Well, I don't know about undercover much, but he works for Homeland Security. He his job is to track down pedophiles, to track down sex offenders. I say that because, probably not just to give them pedophiles, probably sex offenders of any type. But then he goes on to say, he basically asks, hey, what are we really doing here? Who have we really saved with this? So then it goes on, this mission, this crusade, after he saves this little boy, he makes him a promise that he'll save his sister. He'll save more kids. They'll get into contact with more of who we need to get in contact with. And he actually ends up in a very unexpected situation, I can say, but he ended up doing something really good and really valuable too, in saving these kids and saving these victims from their abusers. It's not, as an aside too, it's not very graphic or anything, cause I heard one guy say, one review I was watching, he appreciated the non-graphicness, and so did I, because we know what happens. With the implication of the music, or even the implication of the science. We know what's happening. We know what this movie's going to be about. So we don't need all that gratuitous graphicness. So it's I say it's a safe movie to show your kids. Maybe not real little kids considering the subject matter, but it is PG-13, so decide for yourself, parents among yourselves. But, we get in these unexpected situations, like Tim Abbott was, and, Tim Abbott was a little prepared for what he would find. Like I say, he was an officer who dealt in pedophilia, who dealt in child sex trafficking and child enslavement and all that. But what about when God called you to something that you're absolutely not prepared for? Like he did with he actually did with David. David had some training and some preparedness for it, like we talked about last week. But other than that, there was nothing. So what happened when you're in a situation that God has thrust you into, or maybe that you just wind up in that situation? If you are subject to believe in God's will or not, you still wind up in that situation. So what happened in those moments? Well, God's still with you. God will provide a way if you're willing to put in the time. If you're willing to put in the time, if you're willing to put in the effort, if you follow His will, if you're passionate about what you do, if you may even feel in your heart, hey, this isn't for me, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, go do what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. You may even have to wait on that for a while. But when it comes up, you'll know it. I can say God will still be with you in those moments, even if you're not particularly religious, even if you're not Christian. Doesn't change that fact. We're not an accusative club here. we all sinners saved by grace, and we all subject to God if we allow Him to be ruler of our lives. But like I say, God loved you, and He loved you enough to even let you walk away, and actually He expects it, because they are severely, well, I don't want to say severely, but there's less Christians than there are on the planet. I mean, the Bible actually warned about this. Wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. Because it's easy to fall into the devil's trap and the devil's ensnarement, because you want to be his definition of great, you want to have his definition of worldly success. And the definition of godly success is ultimately and basically servitude. And I mean, that can be hard for a lot of people. I mean, I say a lot of people, but even Christians. I mean, because Christians want recognition for what they do. I mean, you think about Jeremiah, you think about Isaiah, you think about Nehemiah. I mean, God called these men to preach for His name's sake. But He told one of them, I'm pretty sure it was Jeremiah, that no one was really going to listen to him. That he'd just be a voice crying out in the wilderness. But if you're faithful to God in that and what He tasked you with, then He will give you immeasurably more. He will, well, and that's not really what I meant to say. He will give you more, but He will remember you. He may not give you more in the world, more in terms of monetary value, but He'll remember you. He'll be with you on whatever unexpected journey you find yourself taking. If you don't even have to really be, you don't even really have to be subservient to Him at the time for it to happen. You just have to, well, I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. You do have to be subservient to Him, but, and I think I figured out a good way to say this, just because you're not all the way in with Him, all the way subservient to Him, don't think that means I'm saying, oh, you're definitely gonna fail. If you don't have God, you're just gonna fail with everything you do. Ultimately, if you don't have God at the end of your life, you'll end up in hell. But just because you don't have God does not mean you fail in every single endeavor that you do and every single endeavor that you take on. God provides all morality. Whether you like it or not, God provides morality. And if we go down that morality path that He set and don't fall into the degeneracy and the depravity of this world, then God will make you successful. God will make you prosper. It's more than likely God will even reveal Himself to you as you're on that morality pathway. Guys, that's what life is ultimately about. That's why people are so depressed, suicidal nowadays. because they're looking for acceptance and they're looking for success in any way but God. And that only destruction, that is the broad and wide gaze that ultimately leads to hell and leads to the devil and leads to life of suffering and heartache. Guys, I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you next week.